What is a denizen? Alexa, what is a denizen? Why do I even use that word? Do I even really use that word correctly? Alexa, what is the definition of denizen?
A denizen is a resident or inhabitant of a particular place. It can also be used to refer to a person who regularly frequents a specific location. The term denizen can be used as a noun or verb. As a noun, it means an inhabitant or resident of a place. As a verb, it means to make someone a denizen or resident.
Alexa, off. Alright, so denizens of the internet. Denizens of YouTube. Welcome to my live stream. There hasn't been a single word spoken in the past 10 minutes in this, huh? It's the ending? Is it like a finale? Huh? Are they seeing the real world for the first time? Let's see. Alright, Dondrell Lee Artistry. 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 What's up, man? Said hi, hi, hi. Hello, hello, hello. Let's work this painting. Dondrell Lee Artistry. That. Stick this toy right in here. Or if they know how to get this toy out. I put food there. I don't know if they ate. Dondrell Lee Artistry. Is this a death mask? No, it's not. I mean, maybe. Maybe call it a death mask. Trying to figure out how to keep my cats from escaping. So I have to stick something in front of the this hole on our door. But I don't know exactly what that should be. Let's just keep an eye. We have to keep an eye on you, bud. Have to keep an eye on these cats. Alright, so let's pop open some materials. We have a couple items to pop open. Our mineral spirits to keep some nice loose paint. Omizu paints, Omizu paints. Omizu Paints, Omizu Paints, Omizu Paints, Omizu Paints is here, and so is Dondrell. Alright, so there is a palette knife that I'm always missing, but I often want to use it. And somehow I always misplace it. I don't know what happens to it, why I misplace it so easily. But it is a palette knife that I often want to use. Got these two. Hey, Kat, were you ever able to find those yeah. Hey! Gosh, dang it, you got out. Come here, Scout. Huh? Come here, get in there. Scout. Walk back inside.
Hey! Stop that, Scout.
Alright, I put a 10-pound weight here. Hopefully that keeps them in. Oh, cats. My goodness. Will they ever be a pet that you can leave alone for 15 minutes? Alright, let's see how we're going to do this. Let me got my palette knife. Got a nice brush here. Let's grab a straight brush. Let's grab a flat brush and I'm gonna grab this filbert brush. We got our palette knife. So let's just go in with this. I'm gonna go for some reds and grays. We're gonna focus on the grays here. Let's grab some of the grays. And then here we go. We're gonna go down. And we're gonna go darker with this. I'm gonna go darker with these grays, and even go a little black. And we're gonna make some of this disappear here. Let's make this disappear. And let's go around. And let's see how we do this. Let's keep this going. Gonna build up with some grays. A little dreary, but not too much. Yeah. I think with a shirt and some eyes, he's good to go. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's all this painting needs is some eyes, and you know, you don't need too much to make a painting. All you need is some eyes and a nose, something that looks like a nose and a mouth, and you know, that's how Picasso did it, right? Sometimes you just need the objects, right? You just need something that makes sense to people. You don't even need it to be perfect. You just need it to like be there. That's what Picasso gave to the world. This idea, this mental idea that in order to create a painting that people can recognize as far as a face goes, you don't actually need to have to paint the noses accurately or anything. You really just need to just paint ideas, paint things. So let's see how this is going to go. It's going to upset some people because there's so much gray, but I'm really experimenting with limiting my palette on this piece. I wanted to do that as part of this project. And here we go. Maybe we could let's find some bright colors. Let's find a brown, this brown purple here. I'm gonna go right here. Haha, my cats can't move a 10-pound weight. So we've discovered a way to keep them in.
What's the weight?
The one that's in the corner down there, your 10-pound weight. Yeah, it's your weights. $10 or give it to the next stream. What? Tyrone, are you asking if you're gonna give me $10 or go to the next stream? You know what? I'll be generous today, Tyrone, and give it to the next stream, man. Pass the $10 on to the next streamer. Not because I don't need or want the money, but because I had a great day, and honestly, sometimes I feel like the idea of passing on blessings or allowing them to go to other people makes them come back. I'm being selfish here. I think that you passing the $10 to somebody else is going to pay me back tenfold sometime in the future. So whoever you give it to is fine with me. Thought I was painting MF Doom. Nope, no doom here. No doom here. But it would be cool if you could give it under my name, like add the title Huzzah Creative under the giveaway. Now my cats won't stop bothering me. Let's grab some palette work. Let's grab some palette knife work. And we're gonna go like this. Grab some more palette knife. Scout, can't be here. Both of you kitties need to go. Come here. Scout, you come here. Come here, bud. Alright, Scout knows to jump off.
Did you eat?
Pookie, come here. Come here, Pookie. Let me give you a hug. Let me give you a big hug until you decide that you don't want one anymore and you go away.
Did they eat?
Yes. And this triangle, we're gonna have a triangle right here. Let's go.
Have food fucking mouth.
You know what? You know what's really interesting is I think this nose is actually doing a good job of standing out. I think this nose is actually coming out pretty good. So we're gonna go some of this red sienna here. Grab some of our palette knife play here.
Wow. How much food did you give them?
Enough for the evening.
That's enough to feed an entire shelter full of cats.
How many specifically?
80 cats. Guys, come here and eat. This is a feast waiting to go.
No, they take their times. Like, you know, they like to take their time. Thought I was painting MF Doom. Loved it. Thank you so much, J.U. Terror. Really appreciate you. What'd you say, Kat?
Food from yesterday stayed till this morning.
That's
It's been there since the night before yesterday.
it happens sometimes.
I know it. I tried to get them to eat it. Doctored it up.
Now let me grab a flat brush here. We're gonna try to find some blues. Let's try to find some light blues here. My paint has already dried up so much. That's the problem with oil paints. Well, no, not oil paints. Painting in general is it's so easy to let your paints actually dry out. You have to, I mean, acrylics, it's like, you know, it basically happens in like 10 minutes, right? But with oil paint, you always expect your oil paint to last, but it rarely ever lasts as long as you need it to. Let me try to find an ear shape back here. I'm gonna go grab an ear.
Yum yum for her first. Going nuts on that dish.
Is she eating?
Yeah.
Good, see? I make a good cat meal.
It is good. Is that the fresh cat?
It's a little bit of everything.
That furry bird.
All right, and here we go. So I wonder if Tyrone gave $10 to anybody. Good question. I don't know. Be generous, people. I've had a good week. I've had a good week of work. You know, I feel blessed right now to have the opportunity to turn down $10 and to allow that blessing to pass to somebody else. Had a really good work week. Very fortunate for my acting gigs. Very, very fortunate. Very lucky. And I can't talk about them now, but I've had the opportunity to work with some childhood heroes. And that's stuff I can share later once the projects come out. But my goodness, I've had the opportunity to work with some childhood heroes this week. Icons.
Pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty.
Let's see. Let's go dab in some of these colors up here. Nope. I mean, maybe on something, but not right now. I'll be working tomorrow on something, but not necessarily booked on a gig yet. And let's see. Let's find I'm gonna go find some brown. Let's go with our brown here. Our Van Dyke brown. Bring it in with our ochre. And let's go find it right here. But also, that's another thing about money. I know it's kind of goofy for me to say, you know, that I'm grateful that someone would offer to give $10 on this stream or give $10 to the next stream. And on one hand, it's like, you know, you don't want to get too content, right? Because what you ask for, you shall surely receive. And if you turn down money, what does that mean, right? Does that mean, yeah, let's, you know, just, this is just a conversation, not so much about money. We're not talking money right now, as much as it is about this idea of like manifesting, I guess, right? Like if you turn down money, does that mean that like you don't want more in your life? Does it mean that you don't need more in your life? And therefore, that's what you're pretty much putting out into the universe? Or does it mean something more positive, like, you know, I'm actually doing something good, giving to the next person? Assuming Tyrone even went and gave to the next stream. I don't know. But he gave me a choice, so that is a choice I have made. And let's see how we go right here. We're going to go down right there. Let's maybe find some of this yellow again. I'm going to add some of this yellow into this section right here. I guess as long as you could tell that it's a human face. Warzone loves the style. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. That's how I would quote Presley. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's my Elvis Presley impression. Don't wear it out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very much. All right. So let's see. How can we do something with this nose here? We need to do something with this nose. I think a lot of people can relate to abstract styles because it feels like very feels like accessible, you know? Like like when you see someone paint hyper realist, you think, whoa, that person, something super classical, you think like, oh, that person must be like the greatest artist on earth. They must have trained for like decades. And I definitely admit, like when I see certain styles, like stylized portraits that really, the technique itself is not very technical. I also think like, okay, that seems doable. But when you really study that artist, I think you come to realize, and I'm not saying this about myself, I'm saying about the artists that I study, that try to learn these ideas from, is that it's not easy unless they do live streams like this, right? Unless they give away all of their greatest secrets on live stream like I do, which a lot of artists, not only do they not have the opportunity, but historically a lot of artists are pretty secretive. Picasso painted in secret. Francis Bacon painted in secret. A lot of artists had secret techniques. Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali did some stuff in public, but overall, I think how's the day? Warzone. But I think also, this idea of painting publicly as a live stream, it's totally, it's a new idea, right? Like, but when you really try to copy artists, like, let's just use Picasso, for example, because I can't think of anybody else. Or Jackson Pollock or any of those people, de Kooning. If you try to copy any of them, like, it's not totally easy. You can't, it would be pointless to try to remake every single one of their marks. And I think ultimately it comes down to, and this is just my theory, this is theory. Ultimately, if you want to learn from those artists, it comes down to trying to understand what they were trying to achieve with their art rather than trying to copy exactly what it was. Unless you're trying to learn technique like, cubism, right? Unless you're trying to learn a specific, like, how to model figures, or something like that, unless you're trying something very specific that helps you, achieve a certain look. But if you're trying to copy an artist without like a reason, like you're trying to like make work that's like theirs, I think it's mostly a futile effort to try to copy it stroke for stroke, because at the end of the day, an artist's intention can have such a huge impact. You know what, let's Pookie! Yeah. Gosh. Pookie. Come here. Oh. Get your tail out of there. Come here. What do I have to do, huh? What's the guy gotta do? Elias Johnson. All right, let's pop off these little eyelets. You know what? I need one smaller What should I do? Let's take a sock. We're just going to take the sock and then swirl it. Let's see here. No, the sock's not going to work. Maybe the sponge here. Let's go. A little bit messy there. Here we go. I got a nice hard edge here that I can work on top of. Work into. Nice little hard edge in here. Nice clean edge. Something a little different. My edges usually aren't so clean and crisp. You know, before we should we do a black outline? Let's do the black outline here. We're gonna do a nice black outline. We're gonna start using some black to get in some colors here.
Sponges used to be in the spots. You know.
I know I grabbed 2 of them. Well, I have a few of them, but I didn't grab all of them, so I don't know where they might have gone.
Neither do I. I didn't know you took some.
You didn't know. Now you know. And let's find some eyes here. Let's see how this goes. We are still experimenting here. At what point is an artist allowed to stop saying that they're experimenting and start saying that they're actually creating something? By the way, here's a fun thing that I learned about Picasso. So in Picasso's artist statement, it's really interesting to read artist statements. But in Picasso's artist statements, if you just look this up, it's worth a look. But you can learn about like a lot of artists and you know what they're all about. And in Picasso's artist statement, he talks about this idea that like, you know, his art is not about experimenting or science or like trying to test out ideas. Everything that he wants to do is communicated the way it's supposed to be communicated. That's confident as heck, huh? That is some confident, bold statement making. Like this idea that nothing he does is by accident. Leave it to Picasso to give you a quote like that. Leave it to Picasso. But I often say experimenting a lot, and I think to his like I think about his artist statement. I'm like, am I like, using this idea of experimentation as a crutch to actually, do good work, or what? And that's a question I have to answer for myself. It's nothing, any of you can really answer, but just sharing some thoughts around the work here. It's all the work. All the work. At some point you have to stop experimenting and you need to go actually just make some artwork. But, then again, just because Picasso said it doesn't mean it's law, right? Just because Picasso said something one day. Heck yeah, Jigsaw. Dondrell says his artist name is ID Gaff. Brilliant, man. And you know what? Like, I think it's awesome that those are that can even be an artist statement. It's awesome. I mean, it is a statement in itself, right? Like, that would be, by the way, I think, just thinking of, like, if Dondrell gets interviewed one day, and I think a really good answer that could prove, like, you're a super genius is if interviewer asks a question like, so, wouldn't you say that saying ID gaff is also a statement? And if you somehow answer that question with like a drop the mic statement, you'd forever be hailed a genius on that interview. Forever the genius, forever the brilliant mind of an artiste. The mind of an artiste is never done. I don't even know where this is now. At this point, there's just a really bizarre face. We can all benefit by caring less, right? Who cares? Because what does it matter? What does any of it matter? None of it. None of it matters. That's the secret to life. None of it really ever mattered. The only thing that matters, there's got to be something that matters. Because otherwise you wouldn't do it, right? If nothing mattered, then you probably wouldn't be painting. And I'm not talking to you, Dondra. I'm saying in general. These are some generalities here that I'm just blowing out my mouth. And you can tell me, went to court yesterday against the neighbor, harassing dogs. Smear now. It was more detailed before. Thank you. ID gaff. Now he's sad. Ha! Oh yeah, he is kind of sad now. Good point. Well, I guess I have to make adjustments now. I will be making some adjustments along the way. How did this cat litter box get here? We're definitely going to be making some adjustments along the way. Look at his sad face. Oh, this is horrible. It was looking good earlier. I like the I like the way certain things look, but now it just kind of looks kind of weird. Gotta cover these eyes here. Let's go around. And here we go. Let's find some of this pink here. Grab some of our burnt sienna. Find our pink. And let's fix up our lips here. I think the expression is important. Ah, he does look sad. All right, let's see what objects can save us. Can we use a sponge? Can a sponge save this painting? And you know what? Let's just take part of this lip off. Totally. Let's take part of this lip off. I'm gonna go with the gray. I'm just gonna go with the gray, and we're just gonna pull this part of the lip totally off. Blend that down. And then painting should be who's trolling Dondra. That's not nice. Ocarina of Time. Huzzah. How am I trolling you, Dondro? What happened? What did I say that I was trolling you? I don't have enough time to... Right. Make the statement, not the painting. Haha. All right, here, let's let me. We're gonna do something. I'm gonna create some hard edges here. Let's add some tape. Add some more tape. Just working with some harder edges. That's the goal. Homie trolling. Your soul cringes when your soul cringes when I pull off the tape. What makes you cringe? What is the cringingness? Where does that stem from? Where does that evolve from? All right, we're gonna go bring in this gray here. I want to find a nice cold. Let's find a nice cold steely gray. Grab this white, mix in with our gray. Get a nice steely gray here. Michael Wilbur cringes when I paint. That's not good. Painting's not supposed to make you cringe. My paintings aren't supposed to do that. That's not my intention. But to each their own, right? It's on Tuesday. And then let's go white, bring in some white. We're going to come down around here. You know what? This has got to come back down a little further. Am I painting to... Everyone here is a better painter. You just sell more. What is the most viewers I have? That depends. Sometimes the most I've ever gotten in one live stream was about 2,000. That's the most viewers I ever got in one live stream. I think it's like 2,100. But on average, I typically get right now only get like maybe 100 or something. So, you know, I'm not rolling in viewers. Maybe one day, but not right now. Think this is the Pope? No, it's not the Pope. If you want to know who it is, this is Marlon Brando. Yes, that's right, Marlon Brando from The Godfather. Yes, lose your minds at how unlike Marlon Brando this looks. You're falling into my trap. Just kidding. I mean, it is. I'm not kidding about the fact that this is Marlon Brando. That is true, or at least it's meant to be. It's modeled after Marlon Brando, at minimum. At most, it's not Marlon Brando at all. But whatever. Whatever. As the wise words of Dondrell Lee Artistry, ID Gaff. ID Gaff. ID Gaff. Everybody, let's make it into a song. I don't give a fuck. There's a better painter. Is this an Emmett original working from reference? Of course I'm working for a reference. I always work for a reference. I always work from reference. So I don't know. I mean, speaking of which, everybody, I am considering a timeout for somebody in this room who I also gave a timeout to the other night. But I don't know. Does anybody, if anybody feels like they want to put somebody in timeout for a trolling name, let me know and I'll let you do it. But I don't know. They keep coming back. Traffic, looking for chapstick. Still painting at the Louvre Chevron gas station. That's a secret. That is Michael Wilbur's secret. He sells at gas stations. That is it. That's it. If you want to know how to sell artwork, sell at a gas station. All right, so we're gonna grab some black here. Grab some black paint. Mix it in with our Van Dyke brown. Get some of our black, and let's see, like this. I'm gonna come around. we go. You know, I do think that I've done a better job of creating like a, you know, this like hard edge surrounding, but I don't really think that I've done a good job of overall creating a painting that captures a sense of controlled chaos. That's what I was going for. I don't really care if it looked so much like Marlon Brando, but I did want to have a painting that would feel like controlled chaos. And I don't feel like this is controlled chaos. This is like, there's still something I'm missing as far as technique goes, of finding a comfortable level of expression and chaos meets control, self-control, personal control. The screaming man? What are you talking about? You know, Michael Wilbur, sometimes like you say things and it just seems so esoteric what you're talking about. Like we should just know what you're talking about. You are far too esoteric, dude. Mr. Esoteric. Always giving references. Asking about references that I won't understand. You know, one thing about kicking trolls out of your live stream, though, that I find interesting is they usually come back. Not always. But they might try to come back. The scream. Break out the 4-inch brush. It'll be chaos. Edward. Oh, you're talking about the scream. The actual painting called The Scream. I see what you're saying now. I understand. Become less esoteric. Alright, let's grab this black here. And we're using a dry brush. Did everybody just hear my cat make a sound? Edvard Munch, the more we talk, the more I understand you. The painting lacks life. All right, everybody. Michael Wilbur has spoken. Says that the painting lacks life. I mean, technically, Marlon Brando is a dead person. So, you know, that would make sense, right? I think based on what you said, I have totally captured the spirit of what we're painting, which is literally a person who is not alive now. Person who is not alive. That's who we're painting right now. Let's go grab a sock. I need a sock here to paint this part. Brando passed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I just said. That is what I just said, people. Basically, what Michael Wilbur is trying to say is that my painting is the most brilliant example of figurative representational painting that he has ever seen in his entire life, because it has captured the essence of exactly what it was meant to describe. Therefore, in Michael Wilbur's experience of the world, I am probably one of the greatest painters in his life. Yes. Isn't that right, Michael? Tell me I'm right. Tell me all the things I want to hear. If you want to get paid, Michael. That's what I pay you for, to shill me. To shill for me, I should say. Not shill me, shill for me. Alright, let's grab this. We're going to finish up the bottom down here. And you know what sucks? I have no idea how I'm going to make this orange again. And it like kind of disappears there. I'm going to need some more orange. But I don't have any down here. And I have no idea like how I'm going to remake this exact same orange, to be honest. So we'll see what I have to do to make this work. Michael thinks I'm the greatest painter in the world. My goodness. What wonderful words. More wonderful words have never been spoken before by Michael. Tell me more about this discovery. Here we go. Yellow is like a horrible color to try to create a sense of dread, because yellow is such like a fun, happy color. But I'm doing it. I'm going for it. All right, here's what I need. Put this brush down. You know what? We're gonna take the brush for this. Let's take this brush. We're just gonna grab our burnt sienna. Let's try to mix it a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna be able to recapture this orange exactly. Maybe if I use our quinacridone rose. Let's see. Pale blush, quinacridone rose. I may just have to paint it a darker shade and just go over all of it. All right, you know what? Why not? We're just gonna go into this. Okay. Yellow is my favorite color. Yeah. Sometimes it could seem like that, huh? It could totally seem like yellow is my favorite color. I want to grab some oil just to improve the spreadability of this. Use some walnut oil. All right, here we go. Someone said crisscrosses. Let's do it. Made a couple crisscrosses here. All right, let's see how we're gonna make this all work out. We're gonna use this to get it all up in here. Spread it all around here. Get it all up in, smooth it out. Smooth it out around the head here. Let's see. This is like a death mask. It's kind of gloomy. Very gloomy. And then let's see what we can do about this. Like this idea of a roller. Let's see. So here's something interesting. So we're gonna try this. We're trying to take some paint from our paint tube. Oh my god, look at all this. All this paint has been squeezing out the back here without me even knowing. Come on, Utrecht. What, did you break a big ass hole in this thing? I paid good money for this. Utrecht. And it's just this whole thing of white paint. Oh well. This paint's getting really dry real quick. Which means I have to use it up soon. That's why these paint tubes. Alright. Let's go like this. We're gonna try to use this. We're gonna use this as part of our painting. So let's do that. Let's grab whatever this is. Oh, no, this might not work. Let's see. I'll try this. Try this idea.
Hi.
Nope, it's not working. That's not gonna work. Alright, let's get out the rest of this white, because look at this frickin' tube. Excuse my language. Is the word frickin' a bad word? Who here considers the word frickin' a bad word? Alright, we're gonna go like this. Let's just take I want a dry brush here. Trying to get a dry brush. We're trying to grab some of this gray. Grab some of this white with our gray here.
Bandage.
It's kind of cool. I like that, huh? Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like this? If you don't like it, you're allowed to leave. In fact, if you don't like my paintings, I'm asking you to leave right now. What? You like spray paint better? Psh. I'm gonna judge spray paint, which I've never used it for. I'm just gonna say right now, it's not better. I've never used it. I have no experience with it, but I'm just gonna make an opinion, an unjustified, unverified, with no backing or sense or reasoning besides just to disagree with Omizu. I'm just gonna disagree with him just so I could disagree, and I could be wrong. What did I do other than just mess up the whole painting? You know what, let's find an unusual shape here. Let's start carving out some of these shapes. So perhaps let's go like this. Let's go like this. It's gonna go around here. And then instead of having this head shape so awkward, I want to cut off this point. This point's really awkward. So let's go like this and just bring this point around. And then let's see, how can we update this draw line a little? I'm going to go bring this draw line and then up like this. And now all right, let's see how we can modify all this. Let's go do some mods here. Some modifications. 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 I'm gonna add some extra oil to this. Dip it in my walnut oil. And let's just get it nice and wet and juicy so we can start to clean our shape here. So help us wipe away some of the things that don't need to be here. I wish I could be a lefty too. Ambidextrous is the way to be. If you're not ambidextrous, you ain't cool. Can't ever be a great artist if you're not ambidextrous. That's not true, by the way. Just making stuff up, people. Don't be upset. I mean, I did use Marlon Brando as a reference, but it was never, I guess, you know, you could say, yeah, no, it is. It is. It is a portrait of Marlon Brando, even if it doesn't look like it. It is a portrait of Marlon Brando as Marlon Brando. Unless you're trying to teach me something here, Omizu. Like, you know, you don't ever have to tell anybody. As soon as I try to establish in people's minds that this is Marlon Brando, they're going to think I'm a horrible artist. But if I just call this something else, I think get more traction that way. What do you think? So Mizu is trying to teach me the ways. The ways of the Omizu. The way of the polite water. Be like water. That is, you know what? That is a very Bruce Lee way of painting, right? Like if I start with the concept of Marlon Brando, and it ends up not being like Marlon Brando, I should just totally ignore the fact that I started with the portrait of Marlon Brando, and you know just call this something else. This way, people will think that this is just some sort of iconic figure. Some sort of iconic figure rather than a poorly painted Marlon Brando. At this point, it is no longer Marlon Brando. I mean, that's a good argument, right? At this point, it's become something other than, it has become its own thing. I don't even know what this is anymore. This is just something that I made. Marlon Brando, would he have played Picasso? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Marlon Brando would have played anybody as would have wanted to play anybody as talented as Picasso. Alexa, what color was Marlon Brando's hair?
Marlon Brando's hair was dark brown.
Dark brown. You know what? This hair might actually work. Dark brown. Let's go into this hair here. We're gonna go. You know what? Let's go.
Hey, sit down. Where's the litter box? Where's the litter box? Where's the litter box? Go. Did you use the litter box?
We're gonna go with some gray into here.
Leave the litter box.
It's chaos. Let's go. You know what? Let's try to find. Ooh, what can we throw? What can we throw onto here that would like? Oh, I know. I know what I need to do. I need to use a ruler. Let's make some straight lines, huh? You know. Let's add a nice straight line. Here we go. Let's find somewhere. Where are we gonna find? Am I just gonna set my ruler up like this? Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. It's probably gonna mess up, but you know what? That's just me being me. I don't know if that's gonna work. Let's see. Huh. Is that straight? Someone tell me, is that level? No? No, it's not straight. That's straight. I'm eyeing this. All right, and let's go. Honestly, these lines make anything look pretty pretty cool. Anytime you add lines, straight lines into a painting, gives a sense of curiosity. This is a life hack, people. If you ever want your painting to look somewhat mysterious like this, just start adding like squares or like straight lines. People will always be like, what is that? Whoa, he put lines. It makes the person look and feel trapped. And you know, here's the interesting thing. The stuff that I say sometimes, I say it in like this like sarcastic, joking way, but it's true. That's the whole purpose of these lines. You know, there is a technique to it. There's a form. There's a reasoning for it to give this sense of making a figure feel as if they're boxed in. But I say it jokingly because, you know, I say it in like a joking voice sometimes. Because it doesn't need to be that serious. Let's go right here. Oops, here we go. I've already messed up this line because these lines kind of extend out in this weird way, and I feel like it's too late to form like a cube. Unless I just extend. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I could extend this line up. I don't know why. How did it disappear? It just seemed to like disappear. Does that line make sense? Yes. That line looks okay. Mine seemed to have just disappeared at the top. So if I can just, wow, I just freehanded that. Yeah, that's really high risk maneuver there. Freehanding. It's supposed to be a straight line. My lines still don't look as crisp as Bacon's. Definitely not, but then it wouldn't be my painting. So here we go. We're gonna go boom. Grab some more. Boom. Grab some more. Boom. By the way, the real way to do this is not with the ruler, just like a straight edge ruler being put into like held up by my hand. You know, if you really want to be like Francis Bacon, you got to be, oh, look at that. That's not cool. You got to be way more meticulous. You got to like, you pretty much have to like basically use like a perfect square of some sort. Perfect shape of some sort. All right, let me find. Okay. Let me find a straight edge.
That is nuts.
Here we go. Just gonna use a letter here. We're gonna try to find a point that we can all agree on. Nope, this letter's not big enough. Alright, maybe this letter will be big enough. So let's see, where can we find a good central point? No, you know what? That's not gonna work. Okay, get away.
You're very frisky right now. Hey.
Now let's just draw a straight line from one corner to the other, but don't allow them to intersect through the head. So that's what we're going to do. I could also make this easier if I was painting on a level surface. I don't know, an attempt was made. I think that actually works pretty well. An attempt was made. All right. So this is cool. I like it. I like where this has gotten. Now, one thing I got to do that I'm not happy with is with these eyes. So let's break up our little sponge here. Let's find something we could do with it with this space here. Let's go. Open this up a little bit more. And here we go. I'm gonna go grab this pink fleshy color. Got this pink flesh tone here. We're just gonna go around. No, I don't like that. Let's try this again. Gotta give it a nice shape. Oh, his eyes were looking perfectly fine until I decided to show up. You know, at this point, there's just like too much white now. There's no color variation. Need some black, maybe. I think that might be the secret here. Let's find some nice areas to paint black. white on this brush. And maybe just try to scrape away some parts. All right, I gotta navigate this section right here. I want to see if I can like clear it up without it getting too wet. I don't want it to be too wet. What happens here? What can we do with this little section right here? Oh yeah, that came off nicely. Let's do this next part. All right, and let's go with our black again. Get some more black paint. The goal of this is hopefully I can actually maneuver in here. If there's any body part I mess up more than anything else, it's eyes. Okay, let's see how we can start to navigate this again. Let's go around. Actually, you know what? If I use a flat brush, some of this might be a little better. This might look a little better with a flat brush. Yo, what's up, Dave? Are you here about this bizarre and interesting painting? I just feel like these eyes are so off and they're just like, there's no cohesion. Alright, let's clean off our brush. We're gonna take a break for the day. Actually, you know what? Let's see. Maybe we could add some cohesion into there. We can add cohesion. Cohesion can be added. Alright, well, this is definitely no longer Marlon Brando. That's for sure. So at this point, I could just make it whatever I want. This is for, we should just call this, name this Michael. Portrait of Michael. Oh, it's so bad. So bad. Let's do this. What do I do with these eyes? Oh, just can't figure it out. What if, let me try this. All right, let me try this. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna go to bed and we're gonna do this another day. I'm gonna try this again another day. But what if, just shape out the eyes. Just give them some shape. Instead of trying to do all these different things to them. Because eyes are pretty important. You don't have to like make them right. Well, you know what? I'm making stuff up right now because obviously I'm not doing a good job. But from what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily have to get them perfect, right? For something like this. But you do have to make them look eye-ish, I think. That's what I'm thinking, right? But obviously, what I think isn't always necessarily the thing. So how do we figure this out? How do we navigate? How are we going to navigate this?
See you there, Fluky.
All right. So I'm wrapping this up as we speak. Not complete. Don't really know where this is gonna go. All these past portraits, they're just not gotten to where I want them to be. What can I do? What can I do? I don't know what this is. Don't know. Or you know what? What if I just made spheres where the eyes should go? We'll have to think about it later. I need to take a break on this. It's just the end of this for me. For now, it's time to go. Stop our painting for the day. We've taken this as far as we could probably do it while it's still wet. So I'm thinking, what if I just deleted all the videos of this painting and just said that this is a portrait of some famous guy? So I have to do some research. I have to find some famous controversial figure that that this would actually make sense for. So I don't know, like, who's like a controversial figure that this kind of looks like King Caesar, Prince Caesar, Lord Caesar in abstract form or something, you know? Or who has like a haircut like this that's kind of, not quite a bowl cut, but also like not like, it's just got this like unusual haircut. Okay. Well, with that, everyone, this isn't quite, got somewhere. It's very unusual. I do like the intensity of it. I think it's a very intense painting. But if I'm really going to be a critic of myself, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not really sure that this is anything beyond mere just messy attempts at expression and trying to fix and repair. And I think if I was my own critic, that's what I would say. But I will say this. As a painting in itself, if I just saw this randomly, as a painting in itself, and it was in like a museum somewhere, I'd be like, oh, I could see why, this has like artsy qualities. I would be able to make a justification for it. But if I was a critic, if I was to critique myself, if I was to criticize myself, if I was to be my own worst enemy, crap talking my own painting, while watching this video, of course you have to add the context of these live streams into my artwork, I would probably think, I would probably think like, just didn't know how to paint, just didn't know how to capture the shapes and the ideas that I wanted, and it just turned out into this somehow unusual thing. But maybe that's how, maybe that is the That is the downside of the live streaming, right? Like what is the truth behind all of the other pieces? But anyway, let's take a break on this. I call this a night for now. Those of you here right now, take care. Everybody else, good night, good night. Good night.